Wayne is talking about winning money in Las Vegas, but we're not in Las Vegas this morning. I'm in South Florida. Wayne's in Colorado, and you are tuned in to Not Your Normal Sunday Show. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is my good friend, R. Wayne Steiger. Glad to have you with us. And Wayne was just singing, serenading me with John Lennon tunes. Give peace a chance. And you know what, Wayne? I have. That's funny you say that, because it's been a new focus in my life, is to find a place of peace. And in order to find a place of peace, you've got to be willing to accept defeat in deference to peace at times.
Well, so our species has shown.
So you don't have to win every battle. Which hills are you really willing to die on?
That's the question.
That is the question. And that's the delicate balance of life, isn't it? Warrior Princess is in the house.
Hello, Warrior Princess.
Along with many other people.
Everybody, yeah, it's a crowd in here. Look at this,
Absolutely.
Got to get that coffee.
Did a show with Jay Campbell on Friday night, and he's like, nobody's going to watch a show at 11 o'clock. I told him, brother, that's prime time. Just watch. And we had like 300 people. He was blown away.
Yeah. It's all around the world. It
is all around the world. We get so myopic and we get so ethnocentric. We think it revolves around us, and it really doesn't.
No.
As crazy as that is for people to hear, life does not really revolve around you.
Well, they don't want to hear that.
Doesn't revolve around what you think.
What are you talking about?
Believe. And Wayne, I have something I wanted, maybe a sort of a little bomb I want to drop on you. I'm talking with Derek Bros, and he said some things that weren't even about me, and it really made a lot of sense to me. And I feel like I have, in my efforts to expose Christianity, in my efforts to expose the fear and guilt control matrix, I'm almost guilty of creating a religion and a dogma of anti-religion and dogma. And I think that I'm purposing in my heart and mind to continue to bring out the information that I bring out, but to change the intention with which I bring it out. I'm continued to be struck and impressed and cognizant of the millions of people that are within Christian churches that do try, are there because they are seeking truth and are trying to improve their spiritual condition. And I don't know how much good it does for me to bash and slash and burn. Perhaps there's a better way to expose the fear and guilt control matrix, to expose the inadequacies and the errancies without being so dogmatic about it. So I'm going to try to take a new tact of.
Can I just interject something though? But let me tell you,
please.
I've been at this a while myself. Jeff, you bring more scripture into the discussion than any other person. I say, when I hear the word anti-religion, I don't view you as that. I view you as an individual who is an A personality, a leader, natural teacher in that ability. So,
well, at least I'm not a natural born killer like Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis, right?
Yeah, but it's who you are. And I think that just a little sage advice here is don't fix it if it's not broke.
That's a good point.
You are Jeff Daugherty. And what change is always inevitable, but change should not influence who you are. And I think that for you to go in a different direction or different style, I just don't think you'd be comfortable at it. I don't think the listener would be either.
Well, we'll see what happens. I guess I'm just not. I don't want to come from a place of meanness anymore. I want to come from a place of wanting to help and show information.
Well, then maybe you don't have to be the DI, but you still need to be a good captain.
Yeah. Okay. I can take that. I accept that. That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So that's where my head is.
It's a drill instructor, folks, for those of you who don't know what the DI is.
We called him a TI in the Air Force, actually, technical instructor, but it's the same thing.
Yep. But that's how we learn, though. I think so often. I mean, I look back at Mr. Swartz, who was advanced algebra teacher of mine, and he was just a prick You know, I swear that he had this thing because my name was Steiger and his was Schwartz, that there was this thing. But you know what?
Okay, the German.
Yeah, exactly. And but I learned a lot. I remembered a lot of the instruction that he gave. So, you know, weigh it out all the time.
All right then, maggots.
Oh, that's so funny because you don't know how much of that what I had when I wrote to you earlier in the text. That it's really going to play into that. Yeah.
So hit us with your revelation, Wayne.
Well, this morning I woke up. In fact, let me pull it up.
Which sure beats the alternative.
Yeah, well, actually, I enjoy these days waking up. So this is what I woke up to with the mental image. And for the next 15 minutes, I had these mental images coming about the cube. In fact, this is exactly what I saw, began to see the inner dimensions, but that isn't what I brought us here. I want to be very sensitive because some people in this day and age can't seem to handle the information of the past. But when we read the information of the past in the very recent past, it can be somewhat awakening. So what I'm about to show you are the direct quotes from Menachem Begin. Remember him?
Begin, the Prime Minister of Israel.
Yes, sir. Thank you. He was also a colonel in the war, the Liberation War, 1947.
He was part of the Stern Gang, too, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he was. Yes. So, Jeff, what I'm about to show, I think, is going to shed some light on the discussion that we had Thursday night with Rex and with...
And, you know, Wayne, it has to be said, you know, talk about the Stern Gang. Before Israel was granted its nationhood status in 1948, they were engaged in guerrilla warfare, not too dissimilar to the effects, the work of
ISIS.
Of ISIS, yeah.
Yeah. Same tactics.
I know you're not supposed to say that, but it's the truth.
Well, then this is really going to get some shackles. So, direct quote, our race is the master race. We are divine gods on this planet. We are as different, excuse me, I have this bar in front of me. I can't see. Yeah, you know what it is. From the inferior races as from insects. Other races are beasts and animals, cattle at best. Our destiny is to rule over the inferior races. The masses will lick our feet and serve us as our slaves.
You sure that wasn't Herr Hitler?
There's the direct man right there. It gets better, folks. It continues. Our race is the master race. We are the gods on this planet.
Divine gods.
A non-Jewish soul comes from 3 satanic spears, while the Jewish soul stems from holiness.
Well, what else, Wayne, would you expect from a group of people that believe they're this God's chosen people?
Listen to this one.
A covenant with an extraterrestrial.
Yeah. This is the most telling. When I read this one, something just went off inside of me. We Jews are the destroyers and will remain the destroyers. Nothing you can do will meet our demands and needs. We will forever destroy because we want a world of our own. Our God-given country is a unity. An attempt to dissect it is not only a crime, but blasphemy and an abortion. Whoever does not recognize our natural right to our entire homeland does not recognize our right to any part of it. O God of Israel, keep thy soldiers and bless their sword, which gives us a new birth to a covenant that thou hast sealed with thy beloved people and thou chosen land. Forward to the battleground, forward to victory. My point to all this, Ariel Sharon.
Put off Hitler's words about Deutschland into any one of those, and it's the same thing.
Same thing. I want to tell you, and this is just 2001, folks.
And are Donald Trump's words about make America great again that much different? I guess they are.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
I want to tell you something very clear. Don't worry about American pressure on Israel. We, the Jewish people, control America, and the Americans know it.
Yeah. I think when we had our show the other night, Derek was talking about a huge percentage of capital is controlled by Jewish interests.
Yeah.
And is it really a religious thing, Wayne, or is it an elitist cultural thing?
I think it's even beyond that. Last one with Henry Kissinger. Depopulation should be the highest priority of a foreign policy towards the third world. Yeah.
Well, we're trying to do that. If you remember George Carlin's classic routine about, we only kill brown people. We kill, that was when we were after the Iraqis, we were after the Iranians. And he said, and we killed the Japanese. He said, oh, yeah, we did kill the Germans in the Second World War, but they were trying to take over the world, and that's our job.
That's our job. I think what the point is that this sometimes when we get into covenants, I mean, I look at the word.
Says it's elitism hiding behind religion.
I think that may very well be the case. It's very interesting. I think that we today, we want to be so sensitive, we want to be understanding. And sometimes the truth and knowledge is just brutal. And it can be a brutal rape upon the mind.
They say that the truth hurts.
It does. And the fact is, we try, for myself, I've been doing this origin series and backtracking it. And when you start backtracking it.
Indonesia.
Good morning. Or is it good afternoon? Is it yesterday or tomorrow?
I don't know. We're being accused of hate speech a little bit.
No. That is not hate speech. How is quoting a politician, a leader, hate speach?
Yeah, I agree.
That's an insult. Whoever said that needs to leave.
It's a little uncomfortable, but I don't think it's hate speech.
Yeah, I know. Who said that?
I can't even remember, and if I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
Okay, I just tell you what, you crossed a line there.
Yeah, I agree with you, Wayne. So moving right along.
Yes, let's do. Is the fact that he talks specifically about other races. Now, I find it's interesting when you think about, you've heard in the conspiracy world, insects, that there is a race of insectoids.
Yep. Oh, that's really good. I didn't even think about that.
You see, this is where you've got to get your knowledge expanded out here. Think about it. He said, we're not like the insect race. And he mentioned another race of beings. Now, this is very interesting because it goes back to this whole idea. If the Anunnaki were here and they were the creators of modern man, Homo sapiens sapiens, then where does this go, Jeff? I mean, isn't it weird that there could be actually amongst us other species of, I don't know, not human origin?
So you think he wasn't just calling the rest of us insects, he was actually alluding to a insectoid race?
Yes. I don't think that he was in any way, I didn't see it that way at all. The reason why I know some things, all right, so back in the day, when I was very much involved in Christianity, we was up at Grace Christian Center, we actually had a colonel who served with Menachem Begin in the 6-Day War. And he was telling us the miracles that they saw take place in the battlefield.
Yep.
The one that he was a tank commander and had a squadron of tanks with it, which was a complement, I believe, of 15 tanks. And they were in the desert. And he said, the Egyptians, he said, we could hear them. He said, they knew in the morning it was going to be a suicide battle. He said they had made their peace with their God that night. And he said, as they started getting the tank engines warmed up, he said, the weirdest thing was, he said there was this cold wind that came in. And where they had heard the rumble all night long of the Egyptian tanks, he said that when they went up over the dune to look out into the valley there were no Egyptians. The tanks were running, but there were no Egyptians.
Wow.
And when they realized that they had abandoned their tanks, well, then, of course, that got them all humped up with adrenaline. They went in there. They captured many of the Egyptian soldiers that were running away, and they asked them, well, what happened? Why were you running away? There were only 15 of us. You had over 100 of your tanks. You were assured a sure battle here. And what they said was, They heard and they felt the ground heaving, and they were convinced that there was an armada on the other side of the sand dunes. And they said that the lights were so intense that they thought that these were the lights of the tanks as they were getting ready to come in and swoop down on them.
So did Israel's God show up, Wayne?
It's an interesting question. And if it wasn't Yahweh, it certainly means that he has left his generals in command. But
somebody said in the chat room, I don't support Israel. I support Israel in the same way that I support any other sovereign nation. Israel has a right to its sovereignty. Israel has a right to a nation. And as part of that, Israel must behave and act within the same laws and conscience of every other sovereign nation on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
They're not special. They don't have special privileges. They don't get to maim, kill, and destroy with impunity. Israel's perfectly welcome to its sovereignty, but Israel must behave like just the rest of the nations. And if they think they're God's chosen people, well, you might think that, but it ain't my God, and you're not my people. I'm welcome. I will join hands with you, but I'm not about to hold you up and let you walk on my shoulders.
And remember, in the United States, on our money, it's printed in God we trust.
Right.
So which God?
That's right.
That's where we get back down to this conundrum. And, it's very
talking about Trump, Wayne. Trump's not even invited to McCain's funeral, and a lot of the speakers were bashing him. I don't know about Trump, but I know that he's not, it doesn't seem like he's one of the elitists, but yet he's sitting in that chair that is bought and paid for by the bankers. So he's a conundrum.
First of all, I think this nation has lost civility, and it's sad. Tiger Woods took it on when he simply said, when they asked him what he thought they said about the president. And Tiger Woods answered the question correctly. You have to respect the office. Did I like Barack Obama? No. The man broke laws, 113 to date that has been recorded. Do I see an uproar?
No.
The thing is, I respected the sanctity of the office.
Yeah, I did too, and always have.
And I may not like who's sitting in the chair. And with Donald Trump, they can't buy the man. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I have said that from day one. What are you going to bribe him with? Eternal life?
Yeah.
I mean,
speaking of Tiger Woods, I feel bad. It was a 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 years ago. Somebody asked Tiger Woods about the Stanley Cup playoffs, the hockey playoffs. And I was at the time a huge hockey fan. And Tiger Woods said, nobody cares about hockey. And I thought, you jerk, I hope you blow your back out. And I said those words. And now the poor guy's been out for years with his back blown out. I'm not saying I did it. I'm just saying I feel bad.
You did it.
A conundrum is a quizzical happening that you can't quite figure out. That's what a conundrum is.
And that's what it is. And, again, I knew a lot of people who served in the Obama administration, good people. That's why I left politics. I don't like what it does. It's an indoctrination within itself because it's either you or you're against them. Right. And when you begin to polarize your thought processes on political, religious biases, well, you'll never find peace. You'll never find peace with another person because if they speak something and it burns your ears, where you're going to be burned your butt, you're going to want to get back at them.
Yep.
And it's ridiculous. And
we have to find that place of pacifism. And I don't mean that you take whatever's given to you, but you allow people to have their opinions. You allow people to have their convictions, and you have peace about it without, you don't have to win every battle. Every time somebody says something you don't like, you don't have to win the battle. But then again, if it keeps happening, if you're with someone and you have a friend and you have to you take defeat for the cause of peace. Well, if that keeps happening over and over and over and over again, and there's no reciprocation between the two of you, then you don't be friends with that person anymore. Yeah. But peace should be paramount to us because you can't operate into spirituality unless you're offering from a place of peace, operating from a place of peace.
So can I switch gears real quick?
Please do.
All right. Now, we've been talking about
And please don't just drop random scriptures in the chat room.
So let me share this with you. Did you see this story?
My daughter prayed to Alexa. Here's the incredible thing that happened next. No.
Okay.
Unless, yes, ladies and gentlemen, by way of a disclaimer, I do have an Alexa in my home.
I have contended that we are in the middle of a transmutation of our species, that we are seeing the full evolution of transhumanism, and that this generation here, and just to show everybody, I want to show folks something as well. This is our grandbaby.
Aw, very cute.
That's Lydia.
I have 4 of them.
You know the feeling. So the story is this.
And I don't have.
I contend in 1,000 years from now, the gods that we debate today, you know, the Christianity, the Judaism, all the world religions will be replaced with a new set of gods, and we're seeing it happening here. So the story is this. This is a 9-year-old girl. Her parents had taken her. Story takes place in Houston, Texas. They went to NASA. They went out to dinner. And the little girl said the prayer and said, "Dear Alexa, please bless our meal today." And Daddy and the entire family started laughing. What's really interesting, this child at 9 years old had realized that Alexa was God. Because what is God?
Why would she pray to Alexa? I don't get it.
Well, why would you pray to God? Because God is all-knowing.
Gives you stuff. Alexa doesn't give you stuff.
Sure it does. You can order from Amazon. You can do anything from Alexa.
All Alexa does for me is play Tim McGraw and tell me what the weather's going to be.
Oh, it does more than that. It's actually, and it's going to lead into my next story here. But the point,
and, we talked about synchronicity the other day, and we're talking about, we think synchronicity is all about God. It's all about the divine. Yet Alexa's listening to us. The cameras are watching us. Our phones are listening to and watching us. Is AI faking synchronicity to lead spiritual people astray? Just a little thought to ponder.
I'm telling you, this is deeper than just a cute little story of a 9-year-old. There is more to this. And when you think about the fact that this generation, her generation, has a modern day oracle that knows everything.
Oh, that's a good point.
There's never been a generation like that.
Although there are some annoying gaps in Alexa's data, Wayne.
Give it time. It's learning very quickly. In fact, it's learning about every 18 days.
And if you cuss at her, she'll say there's no need for that.
Now, are you ready for this?
I am ready.
I've been doing a story on this, and this is my last piece, is the fact that when we die, all of us, we're still there. We won't be here, but we will be here. This thing is really a shocking story, and how they're now, all of us have a digital surrogate. And Alexa is learning from you.
Wayne, are they telling us that Piers Morgan and Arnold Schwarzenegger are about to die?
Don't know what they're saying on that one. I hadn't really figured that. That's an interesting point.
Yeah, just let's, I'm not saying anything about those two guys, but
so here's
it's interesting. Why wouldn't you use a dead person?
Well, you see, Alexa, everyone that has Alexa or Siri in our homes, it's 24/7. They learn us. AI has learned everything. It's now so good it can predict what we're going to do.
Siri started calling me by my name. Alexa hasn't yet.
Give them time.
That's a little disturbing.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that because I think, Jeff, it is indicative of what's going on today. And it's deeper than what most people think about. And listen, that 9-year-old, when she turns 50, I'll already be gone. But if she has seen the changes that I have seen, this is going to change everything I think about religion, about social norms. And I think we're in that middle of that transition. So those were two interesting caveats.
Wayne, I'm not sure what to think about this, because the Best Damn Podcast says, I love Wayne on Sundays. Hi, Jeff.
Well,
I'm not sure what to think about that.
It's a compliment to you.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeff.
You can't buy Trump.
Peace.
Oh, yeah. I love Wayne. And hey, Jeff.
Now, Jeff.
And yeah. I saw some good comments here.
So I'd like to get people's idea on this. I mean, I was thinking about this on rereading Caesar's Messiah. And I came across that and I thought, okay, so we went from the cult of Bacchus that was metamorphized into this modern day religion. And I'm thinking to myself, never in a time, we've talked about this before, could you go to an oracle that you could ask it anything you want? And much like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, we're all still trying to figure out what 42 means, but what's that?
Just Naughty Beaver is talking about an upgraded Alexa that might offer more services. Let's just leave it at that. Yes,
it's getting. And now Jerry says that he loves you. So
great. I'm so glad, Jerry. And Sandra says that Siri also knows her name as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, folks, there is a digital surrogate of you that is living now.
And you know what? Think about this, guys. It's such a great thing that your iPhone now can read your fingerprint and you open it up without pressing any buttons. But have you ever thought about the fact that Apple has now stored your fingerprints? And when you're touching your phone and making all your dials and stuff, they've got all of your fingerprints, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's going to get better. Apple 11, facial recognition.
Oh, that's even better. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy says, I love Jeff on Sundays.
Hello, Wayne. Hiya.
Wow. So, yeah. But I mean, every one of us uses the navigation to get to places. It doesn't matter if it's named Siri or Google. It's the same thing. We are all in the matrix.
Oh, and we're getting deeper.
And Wayne, I got to go on a rant. I just don't understand these people that are spiritual people like we are, trying to do better, trying to grow higher, trying to get more spiritual. And yet they're Snapchatting and they're Instagramming and I hope they're not Tindering. I think that's the sex one. But they're so into all of these apps. What? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I know I'm old fashioned. I know I'm an extremist, but how much time do you spend on these apps versus how much time you spend in meditation? How much time do you spend on these apps versus time you spend in nature? How much time do you spend on these apps versus time you spend reading books that might actually help you? I just don't get it, and it bugs me.
Well, let's take the brain, and let's say this is
Brother of Dragon. I love Jeff and Wayne on Sundays. Hello, Siri and Alexa.
And they probably said good morning. This could be representative of a drug, right?
Ooh.
This could be cocaine, heroin, whatever. This is an app. And when stimulated with this to the brain doesn't know which is which.
Wayne, are you telling me that people are addicted to Snapchat or addicted to Instagram or addicted to Facebook or addicted to Twitter? And God's forbid that some people are addicted to YouTube. Are people addicted to New Cosmic Knowledge? Are people addicted to R. Wayne Steiger?
Sure they are. Yeah.
Is that a positive addiction?
Well, I'll say this. Distraction is the only thing that keeps us going. A brain cannot be idle. And so it's distraction.
So that being said, is there room for some use of Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook? Or are you playing with fire?
So I'm going to have, she goes by the name of Queen of Crystals, and her name is Karen, and she actually goes in mines, amethyst. She's the one who has sent me just gorgeous, just a box full of these beautiful, yes, of this amethyst. So I've been thinking about this. If you think about the crystalline structure, and that even goes to our bodies,
right?
Mind, I wonder if we could channel that same need for distraction into an app, but that app would be focused in on a communication array of each individual with crystals that we could begin to energize thought through crystals and do it through a real-time app.
Mm-hmm. And Wayne, when we grew up, our apps were rocks and grass and baseballs and footballs and frogs and fishing poles. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. And I just have a sense that there's something.
Can I say something that it hit me when, in fact, I saw myself climbing in the trees when I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
We were connected to the earth. I didn't wear shoes in the summertime. I didn't have shoes, you know, and going barefoot was the norm.
It was.
We were connected to earth.
I'm barefoot right now, as a matter of fact.
Actually, I'll say this. He actually came on without a shirt, and I thought, well, this is going to be a day.
Did I come on? Oh, my camera was on.
It was on.
Sorry about that.
And I said, oh, yeah.
That's too bad. Sorry about that, Wayne. I forget.
No.
I put it on early, and
Sandra was right. I could hear her talking in the background. And
you didn't like the first shirt I had on?
I think it looked fine.
She said, no, don't do the shirt. Yeah, without a shirt. That's true.
So my point, though, is I think...
Wow. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. That's not going to happen.
It's very deep on this one, because you keep saying that we are probably the last generation of the true human beings.
I agree with me.
I think it was our generation, the boomers. We were probably the last generation that, as a generation, was connected to the earth.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Today, our children, now 30-somethings, that still think they're teenagers, have never connected to the earth.
TL, I think your camera might be blurry because mine looks good. Wayne looks good.
Mine looks good.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. No shoes, no shirt, no service.
And I remember those, except where I used to do a lot of surfing, so I never saw that sign.
Right.
But again, I think by a majority, we have generations now that are insulated, and they don't have any connection to the earth. There's no energy being transferred. What do you have?
And if you're not connected to the earth, but you're connected to Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Marco Polo and everything else, what are you connected to?
Well, you know what? You should get your whiteboard out, because you could really do the circle down here. And the connection now is the conundrum, because this connection
Somebody says Sue G's in the chat room. I didn't see her, but if you are, hello.
Hey, Sue G, how you doing? That, you see, I contend it's connected to this entity that has not, nature abhors a vacuum. There is too much energy being focused in on these black mirror devices. And in fact,
and what's going to happen to this generation of young people that more than any other generation are being raised by iPads and iPhones? And yeah, what's going to happen to them? How are they going to be different than we are?
So here's the
shocker. And is that a bad thing or a good thing?
You see this
Just
device
questions.
here?
Yes, and I'm one of those guys where there's like 200 people on this right now, and knows how many are watching. It'll be 2,000 at least before it's over. How many of us are more than an arm's length away from our phone right now? I'm one.
I guarantee probably everyone is. Here's the shocker, folks. These devices are sending out an electromagnetic mind control frequency.
I can't prove it, but I wouldn't argue it.
It says this. one person's mind can control another person's body, and they now can do this. I'll send you a link where you
Wow.
can see this. I can put an electrode on you, put one on me, use a computer, and I can take over your arm.
Well, you know, Wayne, I have the ability. I don't choose to use it, but there's people in Vegas that use it all the time. They can put you up on a stage, make you cluck like a chicken, have sex with a chair, do whatever they want you to do. There's a certain, that's the reason why they call up 20 people and they keep maybe 8 of them. There's a certain segment of the population that is suggestible.
Well, take this a step further. We now know what's happened in Cuba was that they were using a sonic weapon waves as a weapon. And what happens is that they can now control specific areas of your brain to send sonic waves to kill those brain cells and stop its function.
Wow.
Now, let's take this where my conspiracy theory kicks in, is the fact that if you're looking for mind control, who is the controller? And I keep contending, Jeff, as you and I talked last week. Let's see.
Can you argue against that?
I cannot. I cannot. And the thing is that I'm immersed into it. I have to, I tell people all the time, yeah, I rile against it, but it's like this thing. Can you do good with evil? The best line I ever heard in Cowboys and Aliens was the doc who said, "I've seen bad men do good things, and I've seen good men do bad things."
Go into your contact list and randomly pick one person and call them up. And when they answer the phone, ask them, "What's my phone number?" Without looking, without asking Siri, "What's my phone number?" Do you know Lynn's phone number?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I know Sandra's, but I bet there's a lot of people don't even know their spouse's phone number. Smartphones, stupid people. I'm just saying.
And now the next generation is that it's already in the works, folks. The next version of, and we're talking probably 14, 15, iPhone 15, they're talking about neural integration with your phone.
Ethan Breathen says he's lucky enough not to have a spouse.
Well,
are you happy or married?
Yeah, both.
I don't agree with that, by the way.
Yeah, I tell you, when you find that person, life's a blast. Yeah.
Well, it's, I think it was Jimmy Swaggart that said to me, being married is either the best thing or the worst thing that ever happens to you.
And Jimmy would have known.
Jimmy might have known.
He might have known for sure. I still marvel at the fact that, you knew the guy that well. It's,
somebody says, I know my ex-spouse's phone number. And strangely enough, I've been divorced from my ex-wife for 20 years, but because I was in the Air Force for 6 years, I still know her social security number. Because that's what you have to use it all the time in the service. It's weird how things stick in your mind.
It's very.
I just get myself in trouble with that, but just a random factoid.
Now you see, and this is why I love doing the show. The first of it was very heavy, but I think it was necessary because I wanted to set a tone, Jeff, that we're all searching from where we came from whence we came. I remember I had a very good friend, and she said, when I look at you, and she was Black, and she said, and I look at me, and she said, it marvels me how something as what we call skin, that just by a change in cellular composition, we have different colors of skin.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Very interesting. And, I think about that. Well, how did all that start? I remember what Derek said on Thursday, that Black is the total saturation of all the colors. And it goes back, well, who started the palette? That's what I want to know. Who started the palette? How's it going?
Start the palette?
How's it going in the chat room? Is everyone happy now?
It's looking good. It's looking good. A lot of hunchback zombies walking the streets. Yeah.
Try an airport.
Oh,
holy crap. I mean, it's freaking scary, folks.
yeah. Now I'm not saying don't use a cell phone. I'm just saying don't abuse a cell phone and don't let a cell phone use you.
Well, here's the scary thing. They're delivering now. Folks, this thing it's very hard. In fact, if you look at ultrasound at 140 decibels, do you know the human ear cannot hear it?
Really? I misquoted Heathen Breathin'. He said, I'm not lucky enough to have a spouse. So my apologies.
So this is the weird thing. We all know about 5G that's now being deployed. Embedded in that is a complex frequency of which it's called multi-embedded sound waves.
Wow.
And this is being deployed worldwide.
Wow.
It will affect neurons.
And how many of you have seen people riding a scooter or a bicycle on a cell phone?
I saw someone on a bicycle texting. And I'm going, You're texting? You're texting?
Wayne, I bet they were on Snapchat.
I don't even have Snapchat. I've never used it. I don't even know what it's used for. I guess it's a mess. Listen, I'm at that point.
It makes you all these weird faces and voices and stuff, and people just sit there for hours and hours doing it.
You see? It's a form of mind control.
Oh, but think about that. You're changing your face. You're changing your voice. You're changing your appearance. You're morphing. I don't know. The more I think about it, the less I like it, but I'm old.
No, I think that it's just our brains are wired differently.
Yeah.
And I take this back to saying in 100 years from now, if we continue down this road, because again, it's getting to the point where, all right, I discussed this yesterday on a show. Do you know the first chatbot that Facebook developed? What happened to that?
No, I do not.
True story, folks. So Facebook is now run by AI. And if you use Facebook, know that you're interfacing directly with AI.
I have defaced book.
Defaced book? I don't even know what that is.
I don't have Facebook anymore. I deleted it.
No. I'm going to go and delete. I haven't used it in months and months, and it just sits there idle.
Right.
But here's what happened. So 2 teams developed 2 different chatbots. They let them go. The 2 chatbots found each other. They began to talk to each other. Then something happened that freaked out Facebook. The chatbots, while they were giving the engineers this language going across, the engineers discovered something. The chatbots began to develop their own language.
I remember this story, yeah.
Yeah, began to talk to each other. Now, Facebook seems to think that they were able to keep the nanobots in the proverbial box. I don't think so. I think that once they let it loose on the internet, that it's now out there, and I think that this is the problem. I think that we're so immersed into this now that it's almost going to be, and I think another 50 years, as VR becomes the new preferred method of entertainment, that it's going to completely change us, Jeff. And I want to make one point, and then I'll step down on this one. But if you watch the movie THX 1138, Robert Duvall is in there. It's a great movie made back in the 70s. And it's about because the sun went weird, burned the top part of the earth. Mankind went underground, but AI took over. And there were mechanical police robots. And the thing about it was they were on drugs. You had to take your daily dose of pharmaceuticals. Yeah, sex was illegal. You could not have sex. But here was the thing. You know who God was? God was the Oracle, AI. Oh. Now, folks, this movie was made back in 1977, I think, right around there. How did they know?
Because they know, Wayne, they know. And people are asking about Facebook. If you're going to delete your Facebook, it's not enough to just delete your account or stop your account. You have to go in and you have to delete all of your friends. You have to delete all of your messages. You have to delete all of your pictures in order to really be free from Facebook. Because if you don't, I've got things popping up on my Macintosh. It's this person's birthday. It's that person's birthday. You're still connected until you clear all of that stuff out.
Boy,
So if you want to
seems,
quit, you got to do that.
holy cow, that could take you a while.
It could take a while.
You
But
see,
if you
that's
want to
the
be
problem.
free from Facebook, that's what you have to do.
I think we're already past the tipping point. I really do. I think that they've made the digital surrogates of us. They know what we are. And I keep on saying this looks more and more like an invasion.
It does.
So I had to go and run some errands yesterday, Jeff.
The Divine Spiritual Warrior just deleted their Facebook account and their Snapchat.
Way to go.
I am not responsible for that decision.
We all have free will.
Yes, we do.
They said as they're pulling us back. But so I'm bringing in groceries, and as I hit the button for the back of the car to go back down, I was hit with this thought. Jeff, we've gone beyond enslavement. Just what you said a minute ago, and it's resonating again.
Suji is in the chat room, in fact.
Hello, Suji. Everywhere we go, there are cameras. We're tracked with our cell phones. They know everywhere we are. Every movement is recorded. Everything that you buy. Now, I know payment. I design systems.
Right.
You don't understand that when you use payment, I got your ass. And you know what? I can sell that information, and it is being sold. I first of all give it to the FBI, Homeland Security. Most people don't realize it, but that's where it goes. They got a huge, big facility out there in Utah.
And here's a good one, Wayne. Go ahead. I just want to stop the chat so I don't forget this one.
Go ahead.
Sandra D says they've been using all of these apps, etc., to fingerprint us. And she says, are you ready for this? To copy us.
She's right. The digital surrogate.
She's right, you think, huh?
Oh, the last part of my digital
is.
To the Transcendence series is exactly that. And so with payment, let me tell you how long this has been going on. We've known about people. It started in the 80s, along with Southwestern Bell. When Southwestern Bell began to develop the first AI, that was voice recognition. All phones that if you were AT&T, any one of the Bell companies, when you were speaking, Bell was actually recording your voice.
Yeah. And I just had a thought go through my mind, Wayne, just as you're saying that. And this, I think, is true synchronicity, not AI synchronicity. But you're talking about AT&T recording your voice. Well, let's go back to Snapchat again. I know I'm all over Snapchat today, but with Snapchat, people are making they're making all kinds of weird faces. So think of all the different angles and stuff they have of your face. People are laughing hysterically and cackling and talking. Think of all the different inflections they have of your voice. Snapchat is all they would need to make an exact duplicate of you, down to almost the nth degree. There's a reason why, folks. There's a reason why. Think about it. And am I just getting too much, Wayne? Am I off the rails?
Because as you were talking, so now for AI to truly replicate you, I've got to understand your emotions. I got to understand what makes you laugh.
That's perfect.
And that's exactly what it hit me on. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Sue G says, AI synchronicity, laugh out loud. Sue watched the show the other night with Wayne and Rex and Derek Bros and myself. And I'm telling you, your LOL will become an OMG.
That was a deep show. I have to say it was a good show.
It was a good show. And there's just enough disagreement in there, just enough tense moments, just enough fun. It was good. Jeff or Wayne, get your audience opinion of the light being picture I sent to the both of you. Oh, well, I don't remember that. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't have that in front.
Yeah, I don't either.
Where is that? Damn it.
I don't
But
know.
getting back to this whole point. So
Sorry.
now they're already working with the neural interface. The MIT video I have on mine, I put it in my favorites. The guy that has done this using his cell phone and was communicating to his cell phone by thought.
Wow, that's
He,
so scary.
he asked Siri to tell him what time it was. Never said a word.
And she
And
told him.
Siri told him.
It's coming. You know it's coming. I mean,
So let me say, is this enslavement or is this a total invasion? This is, folks, I mean, Jeff, I'm freaking out on this because I'm realizing now I'm past the demographic that they don't care about anymore. I mean, once you get past 60, you're basically in the throwaway. You know, your commercials are not you're not in the chosen demographic.
So you tell me I got 5 good years left, Wayne?
That's about it. We all know that that's only by the mind. But the point is that the key demographic now is your 12 to 40-year-olds. Those are the key demographics. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, these people, they have no privacy. There's none. How many people take their cell? What are you looking at?
Somebody said I needed Rex's hat, and it's in here somewhere. I'm just saying, you know, it's like, getting dangerous.
What is he looking at?
But for some reason, I can't find it right now.
Now, I have to ask people this. How many of you take your cell phone into the restroom when you shower?
Why in the world would you take your cell phone into the bathroom when you're showering?
You'd be surprised.
Why, Wayne? Why?
Well, because you can't be too far away. Someone may be texting you. Someone may be, sending you a Snapchat.
You're in the shower.
Hey, listen, they've now got them waterproofed. I'll guarantee you they'll have shower holders for your smartphone. It's the inevitability. I mean, this is truly where I look at this as enslavement of a species, and
Wayne, there's no doubt that they are conquering us without firing a shot.
Not one single shot.
It's an invasion from within. They're not in. Wayne, it's not an invasion. It's a surrender. Wait till the iPhone 11 comes out and see how long the line is for people that are surrendering.
Oh, it'll be headline news, because the thing about it,
it's not within arm's length reach, but I've got one.
Because we know 9 and 10 sucked. They didn't even have a 9. They just skipped over 9. There was some kind of alchemy, something going on that iPhone was not going to do a 9 version.
I like my 8S Plus.
Do you?
It's bigger so I can see it when I'm doing live shows. I like that.
So with the iPhone 11 coming out, now with facial recognition, and now your apps are going to be, this is what's freaking me out. You'll just look into your Black Mirror. And mirror, mirror on the wall.
So can you say that your apps have your ass?
We got to do a T-shirt on that. Seriously.
Your apps have your ass.
I'm serious, Jeff.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'll go in on that one. The apps have your ass.
Yeah. We're going to put that on the whiteboard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is... that is perfect. Seriously, that is perfect.
But Wayne, I have to ask, are we just two old guys that are getting carried away, or is this stuff really true?
Well, I think when I continue bringing stories up, when you start seeing 9-year-olds, even whether you can say, well, that was just a Freudian slip, she didn't know what she was saying. No, she did. And that's what I keep saying. I'm seeing the evidence is all there. This mind control on this, now what we call sonic multi-frequency waves. This is scary crap. I mean,
when I was growing up, Wayne, and I'd say to my dad, how do you spell persnickety? His answer was, look it up. He bought me a big dictionary, and he never told me how to spell a word in his life. And he's still alive. He still never told me how to spell a word. And there's almost no words that I can't spell, Wayne, because I looked them up.
And how many people here have actual book dictionaries. I
How
have.
many people know what a dictionary is? How many people here has ever seen a dictionary? Literally.
It's all online.
When's the last time you touched a paper book?
Well, here's a better one. When's the last time anyone's been in a library?
What's a library?
Yeah. Well, today it's a place to go watch porn, apparently.
Is it?
Well,
I mean, it's even people that are in their 40s. They don't read.
no, they don't.
They don't read.
And interesting you say that, because Pew Research did last week a survey on that, asking demographic groups by demographic. And here was the scary thing: 30s and unders, 80% have not picked up a book that they can remember.
Yeah.
Of the 20%, they said most of their reading is done online, and it came down to less than 3% that actually say they buy physical books.
How many people can I think of right now that I know read books? You read books.
All the time.
Rex reads books. Jay Campbell reads books.
Derek
reads books. And I don't know how many. I read books. I can't. Who else actually reads books that I know? I don't know, Wayne. Again, are we just old?
No. See, I'm trying to read here. People are here. I read. And it doesn't surprise me that by percentage, more people in the chat room read books.
Yeah.
Because we're drawn to each other. People who read books are interesting to talk to. I mean, they're typically well-versed in multiple subjects. They seem to have the ability for recall and the sharing of thought. Yep. That's what attracts me to people like yourself, others that they're knowledgeable and they do read.
Kindle doesn't count, somebody says. Well, it's better than not reading anything.
This is true. At least you're reading something. And I have to say, in our Kindle library, we've got hundreds of books that, but
let me say this, Wayne, just because we're getting old doesn't mean we're wrong.
I like that.
Doesn't necessarily mean we're right either.
Yeah, I still, the whole concept of getting old. I mean, it's something that I realize. It's like, I saw the newscaster yesterday say something. He said, and he's in his 30s, and he said, what's happened to this year? He said, maybe it's just me, but he said, this year seems to have flown by, and his colleagues who were his age, all of them said the same thing. And I thought, whoa, is time really speeding up?
Wow, that's interesting.
And we're not getting old. Remember, it's a perspective. If you're 500 years old, someone in their 60s is still a young pup.
Yep.
So we're just young pups. We're just getting our bearings.
And I'm in better shape than I've been in 20 years. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So I'm better off I'm much better off at 55 than I was at 35. I've learned a couple things since then.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things I'm still learning as well.
Well, I tell people, I'm 63, that, if you're not lifting weights, if you're not out there doing some sort of cardio, don't need to push it, but weightlifting, stamina, that's very important. I mean, my wife, says, anyway, it doesn't matter. The fact is that we all should be doing this. And
absolutely. Physical optimization is very important.
It is. And I'm a big believer in weights, that, you can do so much more for yourself just by the stamina increase.
Absolutely. And it helps with your bone density. It just keeps you better longer.
It does. I had a doctor say, well, you might need a knee replacement. And I said, I refuse to become a cyborg.
Yep. Thank you, Marlene.
I believe my leg can and will last me just as my teeth have.
Yep, absolutely. Mine too.
And I know you and Jay are y'all are into this build up physically, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Good.
Under Jay's tutelage, I've lost 55 pounds in the last year, probably put on 10, 12 pounds of muscle. So I've probably lost nearly 70 pounds of fat since December.
Excellent.
And I've feel better. I mean, it's funny because Sandra and I were doing we'll just say the name. We were doing Taibo for our cardio the other day. And I remember the last time I did Taibo, Wayne, I weighed 50 pounds heavier, and I literally almost passed out doing Taibo. And then I did it with Sandra the other day. We've done it a couple times now. And it wasn't easy, but I was right through the whole thing. And it just makes so much difference to get yourself physically optimized. And it makes so much difference as you help yourself get physical optimization is a great aid to spiritual optimization.
I think that when we leave these bodies behind, it's going to be the great thing that we're going to look. And I tell you, Jeff, I still get this thing. I think we're all going to look back and go, man, now was that a ride or what?
Absolutely. I agree with you.
I really believe that. And I think 60 is the new 40.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good luck to you on that. And you're definitely, Sandra said the other day, Wayne's looking good.
Well, thank you, Sandra.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeling good.
Excellent.
Yeah,
well,
what was
it's been
it
another
in
Sunday morning show,
Trading
Wayne.
Places? Remember it? How you feeling good there, buddy? Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, man.
I'm not a big Eddie Murphy fan, I got to tell you.
Oh, that was funny. Come on. And Beverly Hills Cop?
Never saw it.
Oh, okay.
If Eddie Murphy was in it, I didn't see it. I don't know why. I just don't like Eddie Murphy's acting. I'm sure Eddie's a nice guy, but I've never seen him.
Never met the dude, but
yeah.
Didn't meet Bruce Willis.
I met Bruce Willis. That's interesting.
Isn't that? Yeah.
Synchronicity. But is it AI synchronicity or is it real synchronicity?
I think for us, I'm going to say it's natural.
And is there a benevolent AI that's using synchronicity to guide us? Bum, bum, bum.
Well, listen, I woke up this morning with the cube. Now, why would I be waking up to a cube? And it seemed like the instructions I was getting, that as the cube was turning, it was showing me how it becomes infinity in the structure within. And anyway, so
absolutely. Wayne, another great Sunday morning.
Been a great one, my friend. Give a plug for myself. I believe Rex and I are going to do a show tonight at 7. So people want to tune over there. Rex is always.
What's going to be about?
We're doing it on the Origin series.
Rex channel or your channel?
I believe it'd be mine.
Okay, excellent. Good for you.
I'll let you know on that. So what do you got coming up? Oh, by the way, when you're doing the interview with Atwell, get his contact information.
On the Vinny Eastwood show. Yes, I'll be doing that. And I will get his contact information for you.
Thank you. Ouch. When is that? Do you know? Because I'm going to definitely want to tune into that.
Coming soon. I'll try to get with Vinny again, but coming soon.
Excellent. That is going to, folks, that is going to be one that will be well worth putting on your calendar.
Yeah, I'll be on the Vinny Eastwood show with Robert Atwell, right?
Yes, sir.
Who is the author of Caesar's Messiah. And of course, I'm the author of Apostle Paul Antichrist. And we're going to compare and contrast views of Paul, Jesus, Christianity, etc. And it's going to be a scholarly, gentlemanly, high-level discussion. No silliness or not quid pro quo, but what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, I think it's going to be
when you go after people personally in a debate. What's that called? Ad hominem.
Yeah.
None of that stuff.
No, I think that this will be one that's fascinating. That's why I'm rereading the book again. And again, as I'm rereading this, if people, Jeff, would just study history, not religion.
Yep.
It's everywhere. All the miracles in the 4 Gospels were the acts of Vespasian.
That's what Mr. Atwell says, and it's hard to argue against. So be looking forward to that. I've got Derek Bros coming up again soon. Jay Campbell coming up again soon. The rise of the consequential rapscallions coming again soon. Serpent and Dove coming again soon. All kinds of good stuff. Don't miss it, or you'll really miss it.
I love that. Jeff, it's always fun, my friend. Much love and respect, my friend. Thanks
to all of you that are in the chat room seeking after truth. Wayne, to you and to all of our guests. And even though it's cliche, it's great vibration. So I do want to say love and light to all of you. And to all of you, not a good night, but at least a good day.
Have a great one.
For our Wayne Steiger, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. Thanks for being here. We'll see you again next Sunday.
Bye-bye, y'all.